we come from Arab countries, and we have suffered anti-Semitism and suffered persecution. But you have been working for the organization to recover the Jewish properties and the Jewish belongings from the Arab countries. How are things right now? What is the status of this organization?
Okay, so in a way, if you look at the organization's message, it was never about, we didn't say at all that we want to recover properties. We said we want justice, we want redress. Now that covers many aspects of the struggle. Since the organization has done its best, it publicized it, and it passed laws in Canada, and it passed regulations in America, and it passed a law in the Knesset. Our objective was, the last few years, is to make sure that any peace settlement that happens, that we are sitting on that table. And in a way, the Knesset law obliges the state of Israel to include us at the table. So the government of Israel cannot make a peace deal and compensate where the Palestinian refugee is compensated without the Jewish refugee being compensated. That's a law. And in a way, where are we now? So we would have liked to know more about the Trump deal. We'd have liked to be part of it, but we're not, because it's all kept secret and hush-hush, and no one ever seen it, and nobody knows whether it's going to happen or not. So therefore, in a way, we were in a better form before, when we actually knew that we will be in any peace process, we will be part of the settlement, and for sure, 100%, they will have to address the Palestinian refugees, because the Arabs put their refugees in camps without nationality, without rights, without jobs, and you need to solve it. And generation after generation was kept like this. So in any peace settlement, no matter who, what, where, and what, they have to solve that thing. And what we're saying is, you know what, if you get to them, don't forget, we also are an element. Now, where I am personally with this now is, the good news is there are countries which has now, Arab countries, worked out what mistakes they did by kicking out their Jews. And worked out also that the best chance for these countries to recover their strength and to recover their economy is to try and get the Jews back, at least not to live necessarily, but at least connected, at least interested. Now, the prime example of that is Egypt. So Egypt now have unbelievably started repairing and renovating synagogues, cleaning cemeteries, and having the president saying, any Jew, if you come back, I will build for you new synagogues, as well as repairing this, as well as repairing your cemeteries. You will be more than welcome. And the last trip I had before Corona was to Alexandria Synagogue. Alexandria Synagogue is one of the finest synagogues I think, in the world. And the Egyptian government spent $6 million on one synagogue just to renovate it. And we were invited, 180 Jews from all over the world, to be invited for the opening of the synagogue, and to spend a few days that are unforgettable, simply unforgettable. We were received with open arms. We were given red carpet treatment. The synagogue was stunning. The services were unbelievable. People who left, like myself, I don't know how you left, but I left like a criminal in the night. I was smuggled out, left our home, run away and now some of the Egyptians, of course, did the same. They were arrested in 1956, they were arrested in 1967, they left with nothing, and now they come back with the reception of the government, with their synagogues being much better than even when it was at its peak, with having a Shabbat, with our kosher food, with security, we sang, we danced. It was an unbelievable time, and an unbelievable reversion of the Arab countries' policy up to now, where to say Jews want Jews. You know, they were once here, they were kicked out, or they've gone, and now we don't have Jews. No, this is now looking back, seeing what's happening in Tunisia, even recently. The Minister of Tourism was Jewish. You know, first Jewish minister for a long time, for decades in any Arab country. Morocco is doing. I was interviewed on the radio it was 3.5 hour interview, which was condensed into 2 full hours in the main radio of Morocco, and we have webinars and we have things. So, and I look forward to my country, to Iraq, next. To you know, as you know, I go all the time, and I recently bought a house in Iraq to say to the Iraqi people and to the Iraqi government, guys, I have not left. I'm still here, and I've got unfinished business with you, and we're not gonna leave so easily. I want my prophets to be taken care of. There's 6 prophets in Iraq. I want my cemeteries. I want my synagogues. I want whatever the other countries are doing. I want you to do the same, and to welcome me back. And whether I live or I don't live, it's nothing to do. You know, that's for me to decide. But you make me welcome because you owe it to me.
But do you think Jews will go back to these countries?
I always answer this the same way. In 1945, if somebody says in Berlin, in Germany, will Jews come back? Their people would have hounded them, would have said, you are crazy. I remember even in the late 60s and 70s, Jews, if any Jew would actually buy a Mercedes car, they would have people attacking him, people swearing, people cursing him. Do you know now there's 320,000 Jews who live in Germany now, resident in Germany and live in Germany? Do you know now there's a daily at least 2 flights from Israel to Berlin and to other places? Do you know that when I go to Berlin quite a bit, it's absolutely beautiful, the Jewish Museum, the Holocaust Memorial. Do you know we have to fight to get into the synagogues that were once attacked in Kristallnacht? You're fighting to get into it because it's full. And you say to me, would people go back to Iraq? Not now, not in 10 years' time. But if Edwin Shuker buys a house now, and the profit is kept well and secured, and if the cemeteries is there for people to visit their parents and grandparents buried there, in 50, 60 years' time, who knows what's going to happen? I personally very optimistic. But even if you're not, even if you don't understand why, just bear with me. Give me patience. Wait another 20 years and we'll see.
And now it is Tisha B'Av. Are you going to synagogue? Are the synagogues open?
No, we are open, but in a very restricted way, and people are discouraged. They have to apply, and they have to buy tickets like a theater, and there's only 35 people will be allowed tonight out of our congregation is 1,400 people, members. So it's practically only the people who have lost somebody and reading Kaddish or are very, very, and they take it in turns. So practically we have not yet returned. And as you can see in Europe now, Corona is coming back, unfortunately, second wave and even bigger than the first wave. So we actually have it in mind that this is, even though we've now reduced it to a minimum and Jewish people have not been dying at all in the last month or two, and even though things are getting better, we are ready for the wave. If it, please God, it doesn't, but we are ready.
And for Rosh Hashanah and the holidays?
I cannot see services opening for Rosh Hashanah for sure. It will not happen in the way it happened. In a way, May, this is probably the biggest challenge that the Jewish religion and the Orthodoxy, as we call it, have had since Moshe Rabbeinu. I cannot think of any other period that synagogues all over the world have closed. Certainly didn't close the here in, like the Bevis Mark synagogue and the old ones have never closed in 350 years, the oldest synagogue, ever, not one single Shabbat. Not the Holocaust, not World War I, not World War II. And now they are closed for the last 4 months. So it's going to be a challenge, especially when Hagim are here. And if you go through, we've gone through Pesach already, and now it's Rosh Hashanah and Kippur and Sukkot. If we don't go, it's going to be a challenge. And we're going to have to learn how to do it, how to recreate our religion, the practices, and how to get people back to into that.
Well, thank you very much. It was a really enlightening interview. I had no idea you had so many challenges. And well, you have a friend in Mexico. And I thank you very much. And God bless. I hope our communities will pass this challenge with the best.
God. And may you also have a easy fast. And inshallah, this will be the last Tisha B'Av. And by next year, we will build our temple and we will not need to do Tisha B'Av again.
I hope so. Thank you, Edwin.